Hey, my name is Brian. That is Shane, and you are watching the Popcast. The Popcast Unleashed and part of our members' weekly show. And today we are talking about some good stuff. Before I get into the topics, Shane, how are you and your brand new fancy camera doing? Because you are looking like an absolute stud right now.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got some new technical things we're trying here.
That is Shane, and you are watching the Popcast.
Got some new technical things we're trying here. And by the way, the headset did not work out well. So I could not hear anything you were saying, but that's all right.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah. So we're going to go with the new camera and we'll work that out later.
But you do look great. Usually you look like one of those blurry images where they actually purposely blur out the face to protect the innocent or whatever, you know?
I thought we were doing that on purpose just to hide my, physical appearance.
No.
It wasn't that.
No, it's that you had a really hard time with
speaking of personal appearance, Brian, before we went on air, told me that I was a Chad, and he was saying it in a very dude, you were such a Chad. Like, I was like, what? I said, dude, you're basically being derogatory towards me.
No, he thinks a Chad is like a male Karen. That's not what a Chad is.
Well, you're right. It's not a male Karen, but it's pretty close. What a Chad is, according to the Urban Dictionary, this is what a Chad is. It is a phrase describing a stereotypical young urban white male, typically single and in his 20s. This phrase is usually used to denote a stereotypical Chad behavior, which is usually derogatory. And here is the example. Guy 1. I just saw this dude pump out 100 push-ups, then shotgun a beer. Guy 2. What a Chad.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not sure if I should actually be complimented at this moment. To be a young 20s.
Yeah, bro, it's not derogatory to say you're masculine. I mean, maybe nowadays that is derogatory. I don't know, but I'm cool with being masculine. So
I thought it was kind of like being dumb.
No.
Muscular and dumb or something.
Oh no, you called me muscular. Oh, I'm so offended.
Oh, here's a question for you. Would you rather be muscular or would you rather be dumb? Which one would you rather be? You can't have both.
I would rather be muscular.
I want to be, let's see. I want to be muscular until I'm about 50, and then I'll take being dumb with a hard body.
There you go.
Right? Anyways, yeah, we're here, and it's time for the pickle party, and we normally have been going, I think, around 4:00, but tomorrow our sister is getting married, and Brian is officiating the wedding.
I am.
We didn't know that he was ordained. Well, he is ordained.
I am ordained. Yep.
So he's an ordained minister, and he's going to be. Do you have something? She's not going to hear this, so. Do you have something in store that you can share with us?
Yes, I'm gonna open up with we are gathered here today to blank blank, and then I'm going to reference her white dress and say, "Oh, you chose white. Interesting."
No way. You're really gonna do that?
I am gonna do that.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I'm glad I'll be there to witness it.
Yes, I'm also gonna talk about some typical married things like when you first get married, how your wife is always coming to bed with looking her best with makeup on, to a fault, where you wake up in the morning and it looks like someone tried to strangle a clown with your pillow. But as time goes on, that will change. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun wedding.
That'll be interesting. Hey, double check your mic. Just make sure that you're not muted.
I'm not muted. 100% not muted.
Ken was saying he couldn't hear you.
Oh, Ken?
I couldn't hear you when I put in the headpiece into my microphone. I could not hear you. I had to actually unplug it and turn up my speaker.
Oh my gosh, I gotta turn this off. My mic's working fine.
Oh, I can check over here. Wait. Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a lot going on. It's gonna be busy. We've got Super Bowl coming up this weekend. Holy cow. I know that Brian is not necessarily a huge football fan.
I'm a huge Super Bowl fan, though. Just to be clear.
That's true. Why do you like the Super Bowl?
Well, first off, the halftime show this year is going to be to borrow a phrase from the kids, lit.
Okay.
It has Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and then some young guy I don't care about. But talk about 90s greatness. Dude, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, Jeremy. I'm a ordained minister.
Did you hear what happened to Snoop Dogg? Just happened?
No.
Sexual harassment charges.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Can you wait until the day after the Super Bowl?
No.
Don't mess up my halftime show, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not being arrested or anything, so he'll still be there.
All I'm saying is, if you got away with it, like, let's say it's true, and you got away with it for like 20 years. What's 2 more days? That's all I'm saying.
Ah, yes, very good point.
Additionally, the commercials this year are going to be hot like fire, to borrow more phrases from the kids.
I'm like, what are these kids' phrases?
I saw like a little teaser of the Flaming Hot commercial, and it has Megan Thee Stallion, and she made a whole thing. It's going to be awesome. So the commercials are going to be great. The halftime show is going to be great, and I'm sure the football breaks are going to be fine too.
Yeah, I'm sure the last 2 years the commercials have not been great for the Super Bowl, and I think it had something to do with the pandemic and just sort of like them not going all in because they figured, well, people aren't shopping or spending money like they were.
Yeah, probably less viewers too. They're like, oh, we're not gonna bother advertising if we're not gonna get as many viewers or whatever.
Last question: Rams or Bengals, or does it not matter?
No, Rams all the way. I didn't even know Bengals were a team. So you know me, I'm a bandwagon guy. So I'm definitely gonna bandwagon for the team A I'm aware of, and B I'm pretty sure that at the very least they're from my state, right?
Okay, they're actually from your town, which.
Okay.
That's, Los Angeles. I guess
so
Los Angeles.
I'm definitely a Rams fan this year, baby.
Right. Way to go. All right. Go Rams. All right. So you ready to check in? We got Ken over here in the chat. I guess he meant he could finally hear both of us because he couldn't hear me previously. So whatever you're doing with like my new magic, you're making me sound good, bro.
Yeah. You look so great.
Thank you.
I'm still confused as to why my preview screen shows it so much better than the actual stream. It must have something to do with the compression or something. I got to work on that later. But what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about Bob Saget's death. It was an accident, but holy crap, what happened? I want you to know when I read these, I'm reading exactly what Shane wrote verbatim. Okay.
I'm doing it because I know he's going to read it verbatim. That's that's how we roll.
Bull moose attack. You have to be kidding me.
Yeah, there you go.
Rings of power, diversity trolls. That's a whole thing. Like the dwarves know they don't have any beards. It's very weird.
Yeah, we're going to talk that.
The Weekly Boba.
You like that?
I don't know what that is.
It reminds me of the drink, the Weekly Boba.
Okay.
Like
Peacemaker gonna give it to you. Yes, he is. What a great show.
Yeah.
Moviepass rediculousness. Is that a word, ridiculousness?
I hope so, because I wrote it down.
Yeah. Why did Moonfall bomb so hard? I got some notes on that. Jurassic World Dominion. The new trailer just popped. 2022 DCEU trailer hype. There's a whole trailer all about the DC comics. And while it was good, there's some weird stuff in there we got to talk about.
And specifically the ones coming out this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Blade Runner 2099, Ridley Scott series coming up. Here's what's interesting about that. In like 60 years, you won't be able to call it Blade Runner 2099 anymore.
I mean, you can, but it'll just be like, they'll be looking around going, oh, wow, none of this ever happened.
Yeah.
Like we did with like 2001 A Space Odyssey and, all those other ones. You're like, oh, yeah, we're not going to Jupiter.
Back to the Future, though, was pretty close. We didn't get hoverboards, but there was a lot of stuff in there that was pretty accurate.
Well, we didn't get the hologram billboards.
But we got something like that, though.
We didn't get flying cars.
They basically predicted that there was going to be ads all over the place, which they were.
I mean, okay.
No, we don't have flying cards.
I feel like there were ads back then too.
We have some really weird fashion ideas.
They didn't get Jaws. What was it? Jaws 35 or whatever it was.
Oh, right.
But yeah, no, I thought they did a pretty good job. Oh, the Cubs won the World Series. That was the big one.
Oh.
The Cubs literally won the World Series in 2015.
Oh, right. And they
hadn't won it in years. So it was really a weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome prediction.
Yes, Ken said, like Space 1999. Yes, Ken, when they made Space 1999, I believe in the 70s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, 70s. They thought we'd already be up in space. I mean, we had space shuttles. We were walking on the moon, all kinds of cool stuff. Now, what are we doing? Waiting for Elon Musk to take us, and we're still sitting on the ground.
Yeah, we're too lazy to ever get to space anymore.
I guess so.
Ain't gonna happen unless it has to happen. Let me tell you that right now. Because if you think about it, if you have enough money to actually do it, right, you're gonna be, let's say there's 100 people with enough money to get into space or to further the space, race, whatever you want to call it. 1 out of 100 people are going to have the motivation to do so. The rest of us 99 are going to be like, yeah, but also we have jacuzzis at home and personal chefs, and I don't really want to care about space. I'm living life, and that's the way humanity is. So,
yeah, hope and inspiration don't take you far. That's the thing about, when Kennedy when we went to the moon, Kennedy made a promise. If Kennedy hadn't been shot and killed, we probably would have never gone to the moon.
Right.
It would have been changed, but they felt like they had to do it because our president was killed and it had to keep going. They had this big thing, we had to beat the Soviets. We had the Soviets beat before we ever got to the moon. And so they could have stopped. We didn't need to go. It's a good thing we did. And in the future, you're right. The only thing that will send us to the moon, back to the moon, or to Mars, or to an asteroid is going to be money, financial gain. That's it.
Yep.
That's why they would go. They're going to need to find rare minerals.
So are you saying that the Illuminati at NASA are the ones that took out Kennedy?
No, I am not saying that at all. Save your things for when we talk about Moonfall.
Hey, Matt Vader, what's up, brother? How you doing? Okay, so I say we pop into the news here, Shane. You ready to rock and roll?
Do it. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
Or not, based on our first story.
Yeah, I guess. Oh. Let's have some fun. Today we're talking about Bob Saget.
That's kind of how Bob was too, It's funny, the Bob Saget, he got known for Full House and for America's Funniest Home Videos. Mm-hmm. But behind the scenes, that dude was the trashiest talking dude. He was totally uncouth. But he had this very wholesome appearance, right?
Yeah, he looked very wholesome too. I remember seeing stand up with him, and he had a whole set where he talked about having sex with the twins from his show. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. They were like 9.
What just happened?
It was crazy. I guess they were turning 18 or something. And I was like, Bob. No, Bob. No. Too much, Bob.
You can't say that stuff.
So what happened with Bob, man? What's going on?
So, of course, it came out that he passed away, and everybody was kind of shocked because he was really too young to do it, and it was under investigation. And this is really even more of a tragedy than we previously thought, because come to find out, he actually hit his head somehow at some point. Hit his head, and he had actually multiple fractures to his skull. But he went to bed, and died in his sleep from apparently having, how they say if you have a concussion, don't go to sleep.
Right.
If you have a head wound, don't go to bed.
Right.
That's serious business. And this just proves it, because he basically died because he didn't go get medical attention. He probably fell down in his room in the bathroom or something and hit his head and thought he'd go sleep it off, and he died, bro.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
It's just, so if, for all of you out there, if you ever have a head injury, just reminder, don't go to sleep, because, when you die and you go to wherever the afterlife is for you, and you realize, oh crap, I died. and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I was so stupid. You know, that's my biggest fear. I don't want to die from something stupid that I did.
Yeah, it's some final destination stuff too. Like he fell like in his bathroom or something, hit his head real hard, and then just like died in his sleep.
And they don't know exactly what it was, but the family, and the reason we learn this is, well, the oddest thing to me is that the conclusion that they came up with was that he had multiple trauma to his, I mean, to around his eyes, the back of his head, like in multiple places. I mean, to me, they're saying it's not foul play, but it almost seems like, you know, how can you have so many spots where your head is broken and have, I don't know, maybe he crawled to his bed and went to sleep. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he got beat up or something. That's like whenever you see those stories about someone who like committed suicide, but like somehow they committed suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head. You're like, wait, how does that work? You know, or they committed suicide. They were working out and like they choked on their weight bar. They've been working out their whole lives though. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess medically speaking, you can say, oh, it wasn't foul play, but then the stuff that always comes up in these stories where you're like, how do you explain that? Like, do they have to explain everything, or do they just have to find a reason that fits? You know?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You know, the story I would come up with, and the conjecture I would think with Bob Saget is he was at a topless bar, and you know, doing his thing, and he made somebody mad. They beat the crap out of him outside. He went back to his or hit him with something. Went back to his hotel room, went to sleep, and died. And he didn't want to tell his wife, or he didn't want to go to the hospital and have it seen. It has to be something like that.
Yeah.
Because if he hit his head that hard, you know, I can't imagine he wouldn't call for medical assistance. There must be something more to the story that we are never going to probably find out.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, let's talk about something a little less depressing.
I don't think it's going to be.
It's not?
I'm sadly.
Oh my God! You have these two in a row like this? What's wrong with you?
Can I be honest about something? I tried desperately to find something uplifting, so I started like working on the Star Trek Discovery Return.
Good luck with that.
And then I thought, oh, you know what's better than that is a giant moose trampling dogs. That's much better than that. So I'm going to put that story in that place.
Yes, we're talking about a giant moose that trampled a dog sled team in Alaska for almost an hour. What the actual hell?
Brian, I am so blown away by this story. The reason why we're talking about this is I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it's not funny because a dog was killed, I think, and another was injured. But this bull moose, I had no idea. You know, my only thing with moose. Yeah.
Meese. I think they're called meese.
No, they're actually, it is moose, is plural.
It's mooses?
No, it's not. It's moose.
You know what? A group of mooses should be called mouse.
A mouse.
Just confuse everyone.
A mouse of moose. Well, Rocky and Bullwinkle is pretty much the only moose. I mean, we're from California. We don't get a lot of interaction with moose, but you don't think of them as like, you think of them as kind of docile. Let me read this story to you as you're looking at this picture. And it's standing over the dog sled team. You see this, right?
Yeah. These dogs belong to me now.
A giant bull moose spent an hour trampling a dog sled team in Alaska, even after the owner emptied her gun into the animal. Bridget Watkins and her team of dogs were attacked by the moose last week while on a 52-mile run. 3 dogs needed surgery. She says, this has been the most horrific past 24 hours of my life. As the moose charged at her and her team, Watkins shot the animal, but it didn't stop him from stomping on the dogs, according to the Post. I ran for my life and prayed I was fast enough not to be killed in that moment, she wrote. Can you imagine?
Oh, I can't.
After she and a friend trailing her took refuge behind her snowmobile, the moose charged them and stopped 2 feet in front of the machine. She was able to cut 6 dogs free, but the moose returned to trample the other dogs. Jeez. This moose is like the jaws of mooses.
Is the moose dead?
They don't talk about it. I'm certain that they.
How do you empty your revolver into an animal and it not die?
Well, what's interesting is, you know what her comment was? Her comment was, the lesson learned from this is carry a bigger gun. That's what it said. It says, one dog named Flash was fighting for his life with a major head injury. Another named Bronze had surgery to repair internal organ damage. Another dog's leg was snapped in half, rear leg, but surgery stabilized it. The rest of the dogs were resting and recovering and mending together. But I mean, you have to admit that, like, you might expect this from a bear or some sort of predator animal. So I did a little bit of research, and apparently it is true that moose can become very protective if they have like young nearby. So, I mean, that kind of might explain a little bit of it. But the weird thing about it was he trampled them for an hour.
Yeah, it says musher advice, carry a bigger gun.
Right. He trampled them for an hour, Brian. Like an animal attack. Can you imagine an animal attack lasting an hour?
No, I can't.
You know, it's like that moose not only wanted to attack them, but like had a vendetta against them.
How have we not domesticated mooses yet?
I mean, what would be the point?
I mean, they look like they're bigger than horses.
Yeah, but I don't know. Horses, like, you can gallop and ride them. I don't know. Maybe they're not domesticatable.
Maybe I would, the size of that animal seems like it would be good for something, some kind of chores, or maybe as a pack animal, in a cold weather pack animal. I mean, it's a massive animal. My God.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look at those dogs. Those are huskies. The whole thing is just the whole reason we talked about it. It's just a complete oddity. It's weird. It attacked the people, then it went back to attack the dog some more. So obviously it doesn't say whether or not it had young nearby, but you would think that it would do its damage and then go about its business. But no, it just kept coming, dude. Like Jaws, or like what's one of those other, like Alien, dude? It just kind of kept coming at him.
Dude, mooses are gigantic. I mean, dude, this is ridiculous. They're like dinosaurs. Look how big these things are. Hold up. Look at this. Look at that moose.
Wow.
Okay. Look at the size of that moose. Jeez.
That's why it's not domesticated.
Look at the comparison. It's bigger than a horse. It's massive, bro.
Atheists for the Cause is saying they can get up to 1,500 pounds.
Wow. Look at the size of that monster. Look at the size. He's standing next to a tree. What the hell?
Like, it's crazy.
Oh my God. Maybe they're not domesticated because they're just too big.
Right. Maybe. I like here's Matt Vader says they're like the size of horses. Yep, you're right. Moose is the plural for moose, but meese is archaic for moose. Okay. Plural moose. One of my goals in life is to bring back the word meese because we need it. All right.
I agree. We do.
We're down.
That same way when people say, like, this is actually like a major pet peeve, and it's a stupid pet peeve, but it is. There's route and there's root.
That is one of yours.
I can't get over this. I'll be watching TV and they keep saying route in reference to root and vice versa, and it drives me nuts.
Right.
I know they can be used both ways, but my question is, why? Why can a route and a root be used the same way? Why isn't a route and a root a root? Why can you even,
I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
It's the same thing as okay, well, I was going to say like a river. There's another word for it, but it's basically just the way the word came around in different regions. So some people said route, some people say route. You see,
but a route is only a route. Like, it's just a route.
Well, you're talking about a route like when you're driving,
right? But a route has two meanings, so maybe just not apply route to that meaning anymore.
No, because you can route a team when you're playing them and beat the crap out of them.
Well, that's even stupider.
So there's two meanings there. Plus, root does have the root, the tree, and the route that you might be traveling. The reason why it's so complicated is because of its regional dialect.
Yeah.
So it's not that people are using the wrong word. They're just, okay, how about soda versus pop? Right? Or now Coke, even though there's a brand. People use a different word for soda pop.
Or cola, you mean?
Over time.
Or cola. Cola is a type of drink, too. So Coca-Cola is the brand, but cola is the type of drink.
Yeah, there's another one for it. So it's used differently in a bunch of different places. Yeah,
that's fine, but root and route should be a little easier. I feel like a route is a route and a route is a route.
So what is a route?
And routing someone, like routing the team, that's just like...
Well, define route.
Path.
Okay, so then Route 66. What about that?
It should be Route 66.
But it's not, though. You know what I mean?
But it should be.
I got it. Okay.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying this is my pet peeve. This is how I feel.
Oh, that's how you feel. Okay, I got it. It's not a question of correctness. It's rather
it's a question of sanity. Jeez.
Oh yeah, it is. Archmage Frey. Don't forget square root in math. Yeah.
Gross.
Creek and crick. That's it, atheist. That's the one I was going to say. Some people call it a creek. Some people call it a crick.
Whoever calls it a crick.
Who is it? It's usually the people in the South.
Yeah.
Look at that crick over there.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do
that. Don't do that. What?
Don't do that. Don't call it a crick. Okay? It's a creek. All right.
Oh, look at how about an RC cola? By the way, Matt, RC is my favorite.
Oh, I do. I love RC cola. Words are hard. So hey, I actually, Matt said that moose are domesticatable. Okay.
Really?
I mean, if they're domesticatable, is that a word, domesticatable?
It is now. Nope. Able to be
domesticatable is not a word.
All right. I don't know. Let's see. Domesticatable.
No, it's not a word.
Domesticated is?
Yeah. You know what? Domesticatable should be a word, though.
Maybe. Words are hard, like Matt said. I'm going to go with that.
Words are hard.
Words hard.
All right. And you call it a crick? Damn it. Why? Why not just a creek?
You California people think you just own everything and can just
California idiots with your lack of English grasp of the English language.
I gotta tell you this. I got real quick before we move on. When I lived in Louisiana and people found out I was from California, I swear this one guy turned on a dime and said, "You're from California? Oh, the land of fruits and nuts, huh?"
Right.
And I was like, "Oh,
fruits,
dang.
Yeah, we're the land of fruits, nuts, and flakes."
That's what some people think of Californians.
Here's the deal. Yeah, it's weird. California has this weird stigma too, because when I was in the Army, I remember people like tripping out that I was from California. Oh, you're from California? You're from Los Angeles? Are you some kind of gangster? I'm like, look at me. Look at I'm transparent. No, I'm not a gangster.
I would always ask, so do I surf?
Oh, yeah. Do you surf? Yeah. And then, oh, God forbid you say dude or bro one time.
I say it all the time, and that's the problem.
And yeah, in the military, I would say dude or bro because that's part of my vocabulary. And it was instantly like, oh, California boy, what is words? I'm like, ah. But I guess it's a California thing, but it's become so prevalent. And California is now like spreading out throughout the rest of the United States, which is unfortunate for the rest of the United States because we suck.
Sorry.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, Texas.
What did Jeremy say? Now for some Iowa stuff. My dad says wash for wash. Yes.
Bro, our dad says wash instead of wash too.
He does.
And he's from California.
He's never lived anywhere but California. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And he says icebox.
He does, yeah. He can't say freezer. Yeah, or refrigerator. It's icebox.
Icebox. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some more uplifting news. Oh, wait. Wait.
Stop. I want to find good news, but honestly, good news is very hard to find.
Lord of the Ring fans demand Amazon's dwarf be given a beard.
That's not the story.
It's not, but that's
no. Go with my story. We'll add the beard.
What are you talking about?
That's not. I put that link in there as an add-on. Sorry, it's actually the actual story is not that. The actual.
I got it. I see. Lord of the Rings fan. Okay. Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV show reacts to diversity backlash from Tolkien fans.
Yes, that's the one.
I'm sorry, but I know we're supposed to think that the trolls are just being ridiculous, but I don't think they are. I think they're right.
No, you're not. You didn't read the story, so don't say that yet. You're right about the beard, but you're not right about what the fans are. The fans are wrong.
What are you talking about? Well, I mean, the beard, and there shouldn't be a dwarf queen.
No, that's not it. That's not what they're complaining about.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you tell me. I'm just going to go over to you.
Let me tell you before you dig yourself a hole.
All right. You go ahead and tell me what I'm complaining about.
And then you can. And then I put the beard in there for you.
Yeah, because you should have a beard. Yes. Damn it.
Yes,
that's part of the book.
But let me lead this for you, okay? So apparently, people are upset because not everybody's white. That's what it is. So not everybody on the show is white. And if you look at Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, everybody's white. And so, of course, here we've got a black dwarf female, and the fans have just lost their mind about it. And one of the comments that was made here is very interesting. One of the comments made by Lindsay Weber, an executive producer of the series. It felt only natural to us that an adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like. Tolkien is for everyone. His stories are about fictional races doing their best work when they leave the isolation of their own cultures and come together. Tolkien scholar Mariana Rios Maldonado said, "Who are these people that feel so threatened or disgusted by the idea that an elf is Black or Latino or Asian?" The story that follows the second age of Middle-earth's history and includes storylines about an elf named Arondir, played by Ismael Cruz Cordova, the first person of color to play a Tolkien elf on screen, and dwarven princess named Dissa, played by Sophia Nomvet, the franchise's first female dwarf, as well as the first Black woman to play a Lord of the Rings dwarf. And then we have some additional characters, Elrond, Galadriel, some of the others. So these characters that people are complaining about are essentially new characters. As far as I recall from reading the stuff, there was no skin color specifically described by J.R.R. Tolkien. In a couple of cases, I think the orcs, some of them were black-skinned, but he didn't specifically say what color everybody was. Now, granted, he's from England. That was the predominant color at the time. You know, it's more likely that he did that, and the roles were portrayed that way. But frankly speaking, in today's day and age, there's absolutely no reason why new characters we've never seen before, why there can't be other races or colors of people in the show. So
yeah,
if it is ridiculous.
If it's not canon that they're a specific race, then it doesn't matter to me. But what does matter is that these two characters don't have beards. The
one on the left shouldn't have a beard, so that's okay. But the one on the right should.
Yeah.
But let's also, before you move on.
I'm sorry. The one on the left is the elf, right?
The elf, right?
Yeah. So, okay. He needs pointier ears, dude. Make that clear.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to get my. It bothers me that some people are like, "Oh my God, the ears aren't pointy enough." I'm like, really? What the F are we talking about here?
Elves have pointy ears, bro.
An ear. I mean, as long as it's pointed to some degree, it doesn't need
Those
to be.
Those aren't all pointy. It's like having Vulcans without pointed ears. That wouldn't make sense.
Listen, it was not necessarily. Listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. J.R.R. Tolkien didn't say elves had pointy ears. When they made the world of Dungeons and Dragons, elves became pointy-eared creatures. Okay, so with all due respect for J.R.R. Tolkien's work, the ears do not have to be pointed. Okay, so but before we move on to that, the one thing I want to say about this is it's very important that when you're talking about, let's say, skin color or people, the character of Elrond, who has been portrayed as a white person or a white elf, should maintain probably that similar skin color to maintain the integrity, because apparently these shows are supposed to tie into Peter Jackson's universe. So if you don't have at least some sort of, you can't go and make Elrond a woman, or, you can't just change those things to these standard characters. But any new character or somebody we haven't seen, there's absolutely no problem with making that a different looking type of person.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what color an actor's playing unless it's specific canon that they're supposed to be. Like Black Panther can't be played by a white guy.
Can't be a white dude, 100%.
Right? Because
can't be an Asian guy, nothing.
Yeah, it has to be an African American because that's what he was in the comics. That's the canon.
Right.
So that's my thing. Whenever they race bend or gender bend a character that was written for 60 years to be a specific gender or race, then that's a problem. But if you're just if it's a new character or a character that was never specified, do whatever you want. In fact, I would say don't pick it based on the race. Pick it best based on the best person to play a character. And
yes, pick it on the acting performance. Pick it on how they're best going to play the role.
Right. Agreed entirely. However, I do have a problem with the lack of beard. I told you that a week ago.
So I want you to flame spray him for this, because I 100% agree that this, if they're taking things, if they're not doing what Tolkien wanted us to do specifically, what he said specifically, then that's a bunch of garbage. So go for it.
And specifically, the dwarves all have beards, even the females.
That's right. And that's straight from the words of J.R.R. Tolkien.
That's in the book, right? It's in the books.
They're rarely seen. Yeah, he talks about it.
Right, and they're rarely seen. Now, there are female dwarves, but even the female dwarves have beards.
I'm 100% cool with it. In fact, this would have been a great opportunity for today's world, especially with everything that's going on with like the LGBTQ community, to have a female dwarf with a beard, right?
Oh yeah, it would have been perfect.
Perfect. To say, look, we don't, beards aren't necessarily for, it just, what I'm saying? Like they lost an opportunity to follow J.R.R. Tolkien's work and also, play the cards that they've been playing.
Yeah, and play the social card.
Right.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Okay, what was the first tweet? I would never get mad that a TV or movie version of a book changed the race or gender of a character, but I'm genuinely kind of annoyed that the new LOTR show is giving us a dwarf woman without beards.
Wait a second. Did he say I'm sorry, but if you made Gandalf a woman, that would be really dumb.
No, it would be. I agree with that.
So why did this, listen,
Gandalf can't be a woman because that's part of the books.
Right. You can't make him. Yeah.
You can make another character. You don't have to gender bend the character that everyone knows to be a specific gender. I don't understand why.
If Wonder Woman was a dude next week, there would be a problem.
Yes. That would be so stupid.
That would not be good.
Oh my God, that'd be the stupidest thing ever.
Right. Hey, Wonder Woman. Hey, Steve.
Regardless, though, dwarf women are supposed to have big, beautiful beards.
Yes. Now, we never saw any. We were only ever told about them. They didn't play a big enough role in either The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We had huge battles. They were all dwarf men, but he did specifically talk about dwarf females that looked very similar to dwarf men. They had beards, and they were very rarely seen. So the fact that they're having a dwarf female is cool, but give her a beard, please.
Yeah. Give the dwarf lady a beard, you freaking cowards.
Yeah, and you can do it so that it looks cool. Braid that stuff, man. Make it look hot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it good, and still show her, her feminine facial features. Go for it.
Me, whoever involved in removing the dwarf lady's beard. People are really upset about this.
I love how give my beautiful dwarf queen a beard, you cowards. What?
It says beyond Tolkien's original descriptions, Peter Jackson's seminal Lord of the Rings film trilogy also notes that dwarven women have beards. In a conversation with the Fellowship of the Ring, Gimli says, "It's true. You don't see many dwarf women. And in fact, they are so alike in voice and appearance that they are often mistaken for dwarf men."
Right.
Aragorn responds by noting that it's the beards that confuse people, which Gimli agrees. Yes.
So, dude, you know what happened? This actress, they said, okay, put the beard on her. Go ahead. And so they put the beard on her. She was in the chair. She turned around, and the producer went, "Oh, hell no, we ain't doing that." Right? That's exactly what happened. They're like, no, get rid of the beard. We'll deal with it. We'll take the heat. Because it is confusing. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure what Tolkien was thinking. I mean, maybe he was trying to create these magical creatures that weren't reality. So he wasn't thinking about the future possibility of movies.
Well, maybe he was considering where they evolved, right? Like they evolved like underground, right? Where it's cold and dark. You probably need some fur. You got to be hairy.
Well, and you got to remember, like, we've had years and generations.
Oh man, if they evolved underground, that would also, and I'm not saying anything, but it would also probably make it hard for them to have a lot of melatonin in their skin, to be fair.
I don't know well, that's fair, but I don't think they evolved underground. I mean, honestly, I'm not familiar with the creation of the dwarves, but I do know that he was essentially one of the first people to create a dwarf. And since then we've kind of turned them into the characters we want them to be through Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy and all this different stuff, stories that have come since. So when he was creating dwarf ladies, he wasn't considering human adaptation of it. You know what I'm saying?
On that same note, though, even if you're saying that Tolkien never said elves had pointy ears, that was the depiction of elves in the Lord of the Rings, which is what this series is based on. So the elves should have pointy ears.
I mean, I would agree if they through their own admission, if they are saying this is tied to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
Well, it's called Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power. I mean, who knows? It was Peter Jackson.
I mean, you can't really change it from Lord of the Rings. That is the name of the story.
That's true.
But if they are tying it into Peter Jackson's, vision, which is what I've read.
Yeah, it's what I read.
And they should continue to have. I mean, they should continue the similarities.
Yeah. So if I look at that picture and I think it's a dwarf, how am I supposed to know it's an elf?
Right. That is the big distinction. You need to know the difference between an elf and a human, because the difference really is their ears. And
their ears, and they're really slender. Hair.
Yeah. So it is tough to determine, but
atheists, you're right. There are women with facial hair. I know a couple.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Except for when I pointed out, they're very upset with me. So
you're like, electrolysis is your friend.
Electrolysis.
Yes. Unless you want to have that beard, then go for it. Rock it.
You know what's crazy is if I don't trim my beard every week, my beard grows so fast. I was actually trimming it this morning, and I'm like, if I just didn't trim it for a couple months, it would be like Gary's beard from Nerdrotic. It'd be huge. My beard grows really fast. It's sort of crazy. I started collecting my hair so that I wouldn't go down the sink, because I had this ridiculous experience trying to clean out my drains after a year of letting the hair go down the sink. It was the worst. So then I started putting a plastic bag in the sink while I would shave. And that plastic bag was eventually just full of hair. And it was maybe a couple months of trimming my beard. And the plastic bag was heavy enough to hang, bro.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe you're a dwarf, bro.
I'm a dwarf.
You must be a dwarf.
That makes sense. That's so hard for me to lose weight.
Matt Vader says they had a bearded female dwarf in The Witcher. She looked weird. I don't need bearded lady dwarf.
Hey, I liked that character in The Witcher. So you're nuts.
Did you like the way she looked?
Yeah, I don't think you were supposed to, though.
Got it.
Then again, I would argue there's many forms of, I'm going to grow it up. There's many forms of, attractive. You could be attracted to a lady with a beard. Nothing wrong with that. That's eye of the beholder, man. Matt Vader says, grow it out, Brian. Yeah, grow it out. I'm going to be a straight up biker. Let me tell you something. The fatter I get, you'll notice this. You ever want to see how my weight loss is going? The fatter I get, the bigger my beard gets.
Oh, so you're trying to maintain that.
Right.
Yeah.
The skinnier I get, the more trimmed it gets. So.
Interesting. All right.
You'll know. So if you start
Now
seeing
we
me
know.
with like a 5 o'clock shadow, that means I'm following my weight loss journey.
Hey, if you scroll down that story, the bearded story, there's actually a picture of, I believe that's like a vision of what maybe J.R.R. Tolkien thought dwarves would look like with beards. You see that?
Oh yeah.
It's pretty light.
That would have been cool if you did that. Like maybe she had like not like there's no beard on her chin, but like maybe it was more like a mustache beard thing.
Yeah, maybe she had like a Western mustache.
That would have been cool.
You know, and the dudes have one at the bottom, so you could differentiate the two. You know.
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. Why not? Who cares? It's fantasy television. Do it. Do it right.
I love this. I love this tweet. I just want female dwarfs with beards. Give them to me with braided and beaded beards, please. The heart wants what it wants, and it's bearded dwarf women. People are funny on Twitter sometimes, man.
Yeah, sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're horrible.
True that.
Oh, okay. Let's move on, man. Have you guys seen? Oh, nope. Before we do Peacemaker, we're talking about the Weekly Boba. Should I get a sting for this? If we're gonna be doing this every week, I'm gonna make a sting that says the Weekly Boba. It explodes.
At least for like two or three more weeks. Do one for Peacemaker too, because I want to talk about him every week because it's what we're watching.
Oh, I will make a Peacemaker sting.
I'm afraid all of a sudden.
Oh my God, I'm loving Peacemaker right now.
Oh, you're in love with it. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that in a second because we're not quite there yet. So did you watch this week's Book of Boba Fett?
No.
All right. So you're not in love with it as much as I am, but I understand. You've been hurt. I really feel like we should talk about this. Maybe we need an intervention. Star Wars has hurt you. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has watched our most recent Star Wars video on the Popcast Prime channel.
Oh yeah.
The video is now over 100,000 views.
Impressive.
Brian and I have tried for several years now to break into Star Wars, and we could never get our videos to do anything because there's just so many people doing Star Wars content. But thanks to Disney completely destroying Star Wars movies, so many people have fled the platform talking about Star Wars. They've made room for us. Thank you kindly.
Is that what happened?
That is exactly what happened.
So what? Wait. So what you're saying is because they ruined Star Wars so badly, it gave us.
It gave a puke like us. Yeah.
It gave space for us to enter the scene and actually create content that people want to see.
Yes. And if you have not yet seen the video, you need to go watch it. It is how episode 9 should have ended. And it's very rare that I say I love one of our videos because, you know, like an actor that like does the work, and a lot of them will tell you they never watch their movies like after they do it because they did it, right? I kind of feel that way about a lot of our videos. Like I did it, I lived it. We spent 80 hours on it. Now let everybody else enjoy it. But I have watched this video now 3 or 4 times after making it, and I love watching it. It's just.
I want you to read the crawl in your best movie trailer voice.
Oh, is that it right there?
Yeah.
Okay. A short time ago, in a studio dangerously low on Red Bull. Episode 9. How it should have ended. This is a slow
crawl.
Slow crawl. On December 20th, 2019, episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker premiered and completed the destruction of our childhood. Thanks to an assist from episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Ryan Johnson, what should have been the most epic finale to the Skywalker saga instead ended with an uninspired whimper. Unable to accept this humiliating ending to our childhood fantasy, an overworked and very underpaid YouTube duo would attempt to do what Disney could not. Oh, so good.
You know what? You know what's really insane is I can't even hum the Star Wars theme without getting a copyright claim.
Oh yeah, they're all. I mean, even Disney can't use their own Star Wars theme for some weird reason.
Yeah,
like you don't see it in any of the new shows. Why?
Yeah. I think it must be owned by like Warner Media or something kind of crazy.
Right? They own everything. They're like, how did you guys own Star Wars? Oh, we did.
Yeah,
it's like what's that company that owns all the pictures in the world? Getty Images.
Oh, Getty Images.
Just buy them all. You know.
We get emails sometimes from some random like law firm like. We want to speak to you about your thumbnail. You owe us money. And luckily, there was this YouTuber like 5 years ago that said, "Listen, if you get an email from a law firm about your thumbnail, just completely ignore them because if you actually respond to them, is when they actually start bothering you." But no. So when we released this video, you guys, I had to upload it like 12 times unlisted on our second channel just to clear the copyright claims. So I would have to upload it and then pull it out and figure out where the copyright hit. It was almost always something with the music. It was nuts. This video took such a long time to make because the claims were like out of control.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Oh, thank you, Michelle. She said she loves the voiceover. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm lucky to be able to do what I enjoy doing. That's for sure. And I'm lucky to have a guy and my brother who can make it sound really good. So
yeah, I mean, I loved it the first time too, and then after like 150 videos, I'm like, oh god,
you're over my voice now.
No, I'm kidding. I love your voice.
So let's talk a little about Boba this week. You know, for the last couple weeks before, it had been like all Mandalorian all the time, which wasn't a problem. The Mandalorian is one of those characters that is completely is the character I love. It is the like we were talking before, the lawful good character of Dungeons and Dragons is the Mandalorian. He's going to do the right thing, even if it kills him. And in this episode, he essentially says it. Everybody either gets taken out or, you know, they've been surprised. Boba Fett's group is being overrun and it's just Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. And Boba Fett looks at the Mandalorian and says, you know, you can go, you know, and he's like, you know, no, I'm not leaving. He's like, no, really, like, we're going to die. And the Mandalorian's like, then we go and die with honor. And I'm like getting tingles, like saying it to you right now. Like that kind of character, I just love. I don't know what to say. I don't know why I love those characters, but I do.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian, so he stands, you know, shoulder to shoulder with Boba, and they end up working it out. I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but this is you get a whole lot of, you know, Fennec Shand in this, what a badass she is. And the way they tie it all together, you've got Baby Yoda's back. I just love where they're going with this series. I love the honor and the character and the hope and the message, dude. I just love it.
Yeah. I mean, I like it too. I do like Fennec Shand as well.
Yeah, they're good. I really sad that we lost. So we find out that we actually lost. I forget his name every week. The guy from The Office, the guy from the Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, Timothy Oliphant.
So we lost him, and I honestly I hope he's not really dead because I love his character in this show, and I want to see more of it as the sheriff of Freetown. And we got, dude, I really wish we're gonna have to like coordinate these because I want you to see these if you can. We got the Rancor in this episode.
All
and
right.
We got Boba Fett riding the Rancor.
Oh, I predicted that.
You did. Yeah, you did. And so we got all that, and it was just a really fantastic episode. I can't wait for them to do more. I'm trying to figure out how many more episodes we've got. So far, it seems like every week they keep adding on to the IMDb each episode. So right now it says 7 episodes. Let me see how many more we've got. How many?
Yeah, he's from The Hitman too. Yeah, Timothy Oliphant was in, and also from Justified and Deadwood.
Got it. Okay. Oh, wow. It says it's only going to be 7 episodes. And that is interesting because...
So no Sting for the Weekly Boba.
Well, you know, it's funny. It says there's only 7 episodes, but if it really ended last week, that would be a tragedy because let's see, season 1. Let's see, we've gotten, holy cap. Yeah, that was 7 episodes.
Oh, wow.
That was the 7th episode. So to be determined, if that was the end, it didn't feel like the end of the season. Wow. Okay. Maybe there won't be a weekly Boba, like you said.
I don't think Matt likes Boba. He's like, Shane, I don't like you right now.
Really? Let's hear. I want to hear everybody's, chat it up, comment it up why you don't like Boba Fett. And also remember, when you say you don't like Boba Fett, you got to take the whole Star Wars story that they're telling right now in perspective. So you got to take everything with the Mandalorian, the stuff they're planning to do with Ahsoka, and consider even the Kenobi series that's coming, and then ask yourself if you don't like what Star Wars is doing right now.
So that was the finale. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it was. I understand why I have unanswered questions, which is good going into a second season. We know there's going to be another season of the Book of Boba Fett. But I do have some unanswered questions, and it was a really good episode.
Interesting.
Cannot wait to do more.
All right, let's talk about some Peacemaker, shall we, Shane?
Dude, I gotta apologize to you.
Do it.
I didn't want to watch it. I didn't really like. I did not like the Suicide Squad. And so I didn't want to watch Peacemaker. And now that I have seen every episode of Peacemaker up until now, I am utterly and totally blown away. It's an amazing TV show, and you were 100% right,
dude. I hope spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, guys. But that scene where he's fighting his dad and Vigilante after blowing himself up is still, jumping over the car to grab Peacemaker's dad, and Vigilante is one of the coolest characters ever. He's he's a weirdo and he's crazy, but he has this extreme love for Peacemaker that is, it's admirable. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think that's what makes the show special is this team, the team coming together aspect of it. A bunch of people who don't really want to be around her to a team that's coming together. The level of depth, we trashed John Cena. We trashed him after Fast and Furious 9.
We talked about him for an hour and a half.
We did. We just trashed him. What a terrible actor he is. And, I did say, well, we like him in certain things when he's funny. But he's perfect in this. He is the absolute perfect person to play this role. He is funny. He is dumb. But I got to tell you, the serious stuff he's doing, the deep, he killed his brother, the deep crap that's going on with him internally, he is 100% pulling off, bro.
Yeah.
And maybe we got to give that credit to James Gunn for pulling it out of him. I don't know. But this series is so over the top, ridiculous, fun. I put out a tweet after watching the intro again. The intro is fantastic. There's just nothing to not love about this. I mean, what's keeping you glued to it?
Well, the fact that I think the only character that is safe in this show is probably Peacemaker himself. Every character is expendable. And I love that they're continuing that theme from Suicide Squad to the series, because that's one good thing about Suicide Squad was you don't know who's going to live and die.
That's true.
They can promote all these characters and they die in the first 5 minutes,
Well, John Cena's not going to die.
What's that?
John Cena's not going to die. Peacemaker's not going to die.
Well, you mean that's what I said. I said the only character that's probably safe is Peacemaker.
Yeah, I mean it's 100% safe.
Yeah, it's the only character that has plot armor. But, right. Any other character is expendable, and that's refreshing for TV shows because a lot of the time it's, the main characters are, they're going to be fine at the end somehow. But they killed off Murr. Is it Murr? What's his name?
I was okay with that.
Yeah, I was fine with that, but I also liked the way they did it, and they made it they gave humanity to this little CGI bug at the very end. It worked.
That was cool. But him and the female lead were kind of playing the same role. What is it? Jennifer Holland playing Agent Amelia Harcourt. They were kind of playing the same role. So it made more sense for her to move into the leadership role. And he kind of was expendable. So it was a good character to get rid of.
Right.
If you're going to pick one, that was the one to go.
Yeah. Oh man, for a minute there, I thought they might have killed off Vigilante. Because he blew himself up with that grenade, and then he's like in the car, and he's like, passing out, and they're like, no, please don't kill off this character. This character is just so awesome.
No, the character's awesome. The actor playing him is, he's just stealing the show.
He is. He really is.
He's just stealing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not even certain how you can. Oh my God, there's a guy playing Eagly, D. Bradley Baker as Eagly.
Oh, really?
How is there? I mean, I guess maybe he's doing the motions.
Must be the motion.
That is so weird to get a credit for that.
When she sees the eagle hugging him, and she's like, I don't even know what to think anymore. I saw an eagle hugging a human.
Right. Oh, I know, right? Yeah, that's true. So let's take a look at Freddie Stroma here really quick, who plays this character, Vigilante. I like him. I like him a lot.
He's great.
What else has he been in? Bridgerton. Yeah, a whole bunch of nothing. So this is cool. This is a guy relatively, well, he's been around for a while, but he just hasn't done anything. He was in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, small role. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what this guy does. We need him for at least a couple more seasons, 100%.
Yeah, he has not done much of anything, has he?
No, he really hasn't. And you know, when he went into the jail, that's what I love about these characters.
Oh, that jail scene was so good. Oh my God.
He is such an idiot. Like, I love that they just totally succumb to the idiocy of who the character is. And, you know, when he's walking down the hall and they're like mocking him, and he's got this look of utter,
that picture right there.
Yeah, that one right there. He has this look of like confidence that is ridiculous. Like he's too dumb to know that he should be concerned.
Right. No, right? He thinks he's a superhero.
Right. Right. And so when he gets there and he's like questioning these people, and he's like totally attacking their racism, right?
Oh, that was great too. That was so fun. That was hilarious.
Yeah, this show has depth. It's very interesting. If you're not watching Peacemaker and you don't mind a little bit of what's the right word? Mature content.
I mean, yeah, it's mature. I mean, there's no nudity. There's no nudity as far as I can tell.
No, there is. Yeah, no, there's nudity.
Is there?
100%. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some male nudity.
TNA. No, there's female nudity too.
Is there really?
Oh yeah, like several scenes actually.
I noticed.
There's one with a KKK, a lady putting on a hood.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's naked, right?
Yeah. She was putting the K. Oh, it's not. They're not KKK. They're like, but it's supposed to represent KKK, right?
Yeah. What I mean, isn't it?
Because they have like the ears. They're like the dragon people or something. I don't know.
I guess they didn't want to be specific to it, but essentially, it's. I mean, the guy's dressed up as the devil in a devil armor.
No, he's White Dragon, and the KKK have ridiculous titles like that, like Master Dragon Lord, and like Chancellor Grand Emperor Dragon Man or something. So they have like ridiculous titles, and Dragon is always somehow a part of that title in some way, like the Grand Dragon, the Chancellor of Dragonhood. So when they called him the White Dragon, I was like, even before we knew he was a racist, you're like, oh, he's a racist.
Right. No, it's Robert Patrick's doing a great job as the dad.
You're right. Yeah, Cena does get down and dirty with that club chick who ends up being a butterfly. Yes. And that was shocking.
I was shocked by that scene. I'm like, oh, I just think I saw John Cena completely naked.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, strangely, I'm looking at John Cena instead of the girl. So I was like, because he was like, whoa, hold on. I didn't expect that to come.
Well, because the girl is sort of average, but John Cena is like a specimen. You're like, what?
He's a specimen. Yes, that is the right way to put it.
John Cena's above average in every way.
Right. No, it's so true. Anyways, if you're not watching Peacemaker, you should watch it. Michelle asks here, is this on Disney Plus?
No, it's not.
Michelle, 100%. This is not on Disney Plus. Yeah, HBO Max, because if it was on Disney Plus, parents would be like, oh my God, my 12-year-old just watched Peacemaker.
Oh, look, there's a show about a superhero with a pet eagle. We should watch that, Johnny.
No, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Close your eyes and run away.
Oh, and when the naked, when the club chick that he was hooking up with ends up being a butterfly and goes nuts, like,
I mean, that was so graphic.
And he's like dancing around, singing some Journey cover band or something, and in the background you see this chick like casually walk past him and grab a knife. You're like, oh my God, she's gonna attack him.
This is getting real.
And then when she's like indestructible, oh man, it was so good.
I also want to give James Gunn some serious kudos here. James Gunn's ability to utilize music to incorporate music with whatever he's creating, whether it's the Guardians of the Galaxy and the mixtapes and all that going on to, you know, the Suicide Squad, or now Peacemaker. He's using that 80s hair band music.
It's great
to signify John Cena, Peacemaker's character, and that's how he grew up as white trailer park trash, basically.
Right.
You know, and the stereotypical element of that, choosing really good music for the scenes, it just takes it to a whole different level. I mean, the music itself elevates the entire product, you know, and that can't be understated in all of what he does. You know, if you remember when he first started making this, James Gunn was saying something to the effect of, I can't believe they're letting me do this. I can't believe this is my job. You know, I can't believe that they're allowing me to make it like this. And it should be a message for everybody else who's dealing with very creative directors. Let them do what they want to do, because the content is so much better when you let them fly. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's never a bad time to rock. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah.
Let me get back over here to a couple of this. Let me address a couple. So Matt, the Rancor was dumb. Should have got into Slave One and blasted the droids. That would not have been bad, Matt. But the problem is we did the Slave One thing already a couple episodes ago. Also, the Slave One would have been way OP. It would have been too easy to take it out. And the fact with the Rancor, I know you think the Rancor is dumb, but let me explain something to you. They brought the Rancor in and they developed a relationship with Boba Fett. So we needed to see in this season some sort of development with that relationship. So the fact that it was utilized in that way, if you really stop and think about it, was actually pretty smart. But I respect that you didn't like it.
Hey, I just wanted to see him writing the stupid Rancor. That's it.
Yeah, and it was interesting. For sure.
I've had a weird love for Rancor since I was a kid. I don't know what to tell you.
It was a giant monster that Luke Skywalker was afraid of.
But I always want to know more about Rancors. And then I read a book by Timothy Zahn. I think it was called Legends of Jabba's Palace or something like that. When I was a teenager, and they go into like detail about the Rancor and the trainers of the Rancor and how they're not actually super violent. And I love how they continue like this off canon, extended canon sort of like theme in this show, because that's how I always looked at Rancors. You know, they're not just giant, monsters. They've been trained that way, and I think they're fascinating.
They are, and I hope that they
look like Roshan from Dota 2. So. Here we go. Look.
I just don't think. Yeah, I hope Star Wars continues to develop things that we were aware of, that maybe we learn a little bit more about. In this episode, not to get back into it.
Look at that though. This is Roshan from Dota 2. Now take away the wings. What is that? It's Rancor.
A little bit, yeah. You can see it. But for Boba, his character had full circle. He could not beat the gunslinger by himself. So when he's fighting, and I just totally drew a blank on his name, but when he was having that gunfight, and basically he was getting beat, and he ended up using the Tusken weapon to defeat him, the stick. And so I think at that level, if you don't like what's going on with Star Wars, you have to appreciate the storytelling at the level of completion. It's not a Star Trek ripoff where they're just trying to get through a bunch of plot devices. They're actually telling a story that makes some sort of cohesive sense. And with that, I'll move on.
One quick thing though, Matt's right. They did it so we can get a special Comic-Con exclusive Boba on a Rancor Funko Pop. Which pisses me off because you want one. And you're right. I mean, dude, like, you see that figurine? If you give me a figurine that's actually cast in metal of that, I'm buying that. Like, I'm 100% buying it. I
mean, okay, so merch is a side effect of your storytelling. And there's times when you do it specifically but let me ask you, do you really think now the episode 7 or 8, whichever one it was, that stupid little puffly creature that was on the dashboard of
God, that was for making plushies.
That was for making things. But the Rancor's, is canon. So I don't know, maybe. But yeah, you're right. I want one too.
Amen to that.
All right, so let's move on here. What do we got?
Sorry,
you want to talk some Moviepass?
Sister is
she wants you, man. She wants you to get there. She's nervous. Tomorrow's her day.
She'll be fine.
It's all about her right now.
She'll be fine.
It's all about her right now.
Sorry, babe. I know you're getting married, but we're talking about Star Wars.
You're not getting married till tomorrow.
All right, real quick. What's next up? Oh, we get to talk about Moviepass. And I'm going to make this really brief because so it's Shane before the show. I was like, Shane, let's talk about Moviepass. They're coming back. They did the guy who started Moviepass, the original creator of Moviepass, had this press release, this big press release. So I can talk about where he hypes up Moviepass again. And what happened was, and here's the bullet points. Moviepass was a completely failed project. It was so bad they owed people millions and millions of dollars. It went into bankruptcy. No one wanted Moviepass. No one wanted it. Because no one wanted it, the guy who actually went into bankruptcy with it was able to make a deal with the judge and to buy Moviepass back out of bankruptcy for like 3% of what they owed, and then relaunch Moviepass. And he has this press release where he uses words like decentralized, token, Web 3.0 platforms, and he's like talking about the blockchain and NFTs. And they're going to relaunch Moviepass with like this sort of blockchain cryptocurrency kind of style. And you can go look at it. But regardless, this guy is clearly the best salesman on the planet because he got another round of investors to pour a ton of money for a brand new Moviepass revival. After losing not one or two, 3 different venture capitalist investments to the tune of millions and millions of dollars, going to bankruptcy, the brand to be so weak that no one would buy it, and the judge just wanted to get the paperwork off his desk and let the guy buy it back for pennies. He goes right back out there and raises another $50 million.
It's amazing, man. This proof that people have too much money. Because if you spent any time looking into this, seriously looking into this, you can see what a flawed thing it is. The movie theater industry is never going to let Moviepass win.
No.
They're never going to allow it to happen. So why there must be some sort of bigger con involved, because this is such a failed thing. I mean, it was disastrous from the beginning. In order for people to save money, it's so simple for Edwards or Cinemark or any of these big companies to go, oh yeah, we'll just undercut them by $1.
I mean, the guys, I pay, and I actually pay this. And at first, I started off getting a Cinemark membership as a test. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna be going to the movies a lot over this next month. This was a couple years ago. I can get 25% off concessions and tickets. And right when I sign up, I get 2 free tickets, right?
Right.
Well, so I signed up for $10. Instantly, I'm saving $10 and then 25% off everything else. So it's a great deal. Well, guys, it's been 2 years. I'm still paying $10 a month. In fact, I've been paying for so long and I utilize it so often. I am now a Moviepass. That's what they call it, by the way. They call it
Moviepass?
The Moviepass.
It's funny because they've got a trademark down here. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm now a platinum Moviepass member of Cinemark. And so now, instead of one ticket, I'm getting like 2 tickets a month. And it's, if you think about it, all you're paying for at $10 a month is the price of one standard movie ticket.
Yeah.
But what you're getting is you're getting a credit for any movie ticket.
Well, movie tickets are actually more expensive if you go to them in the evening.
Right. So I'm paying the matinee for a movie ticket every month to get a credit, a ticket once a month that rolls over, right?
Yeah.
That I can use as much as I want for any movies. So let's say you don't go to the movies for 6 months. We're going to have 6 tickets sitting in there, and you can take your entire family out to see the latest blockbuster release opening night.
Okay. That's crazy.
So for me, it was and it's 25% off. And you need no extra tickets? Now you're getting 25% off the extra tickets. You're not paying any kind of fees or anything. It just makes complete sense. And I realize that they can do that because the theater doesn't care so much about your movie price as they care about the concessions you're going to buy anyways.
And that's where they make most of their money. We have to remember that they're sharing, ticket sales with the studios.
Right.
Where they really make their money is off of concessions, which is why it costs 3 arms and a leg to buy popcorn.
Right.
My bill to take me, and we've talked about this before, to take me and 3 of my children and my wife to the movies to see Moonfall cost me about $60 in tickets.
Wow.
The food was $80.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, how did this happen? It's popcorn, a large popcorn that we share. It's 5 drinks. It's 4 candies. How's it $80, bro?
Yeah, it should be.
So anyways.
But regardless, I am now a Cinemark guy. Like I'm never going to go to AMC. I'm never going to go to, Edwards or whatever. I'm always going to go to Cinemark, not only because it's close to me and it's convenient, but also why would I go anywhere else when I'm getting the same quality as the other theaters, but I'm a member here, so I get an added discount.
That makes sense.
So, there's never a reason for me to cancel my account unless I'm so destitute I can't afford to go to the movies at all that year anyways, then I would cancel my account. But if I'm planning on going to movies that year, it makes complete sense because I have a family of 5, right? So at the very least, you're going to pay for 6 months going to the movie anyways. You're going to pay for 6 months worth of tickets anyways by having this account. So
that's a good point. I don't go to my local Cinemark because it's in a mall and I don't like to try to find parking.
Oh yeah. No, see, I will never go to a theater that's in a mall. I will never go. I will not go to a mall because it's not just about the parking. It's the aspect of then having to navigate your ass through the park. I'm sorry. Navigate through the parking structure to a parking, navigate through the mall, find whatever you're going to find, going up escalator. It's a whole thing. Meanwhile, you go to Cinemark, you park, you walk, and there you are, right there. Yeah. That's why I don't like going to Costco. Like, I understand Costco is a better deal. They have better stuff, better quality, better prices. But then I have to find parking, walk into this giant factory basically to find $80 worth of groceries. It's just not worth the trouble.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm an Edwards guy. I'm a Edwards theaters. AMC, is that what it is? Edwards.
So Edwards is Edwards.
Edwards is got Edwards, AMC, and Cinemark. I like Edwards. They got really nice seats.
Yeah.
So do your local theater thing. Stay away from this Moviepass stuff.
Yeah, stay away from it. All right. Last quick story here on this side. Let's talk about. I lost it. Moonfall. We're talking about Moonfall. All right, Shane, because you're the only one here that actually saw it, and I'm going to be seeing it. You haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it next week. I haven't had time.
So this is actually going to be really curious. You haven't seen it, which kind of lends to the problem. Why did this movie bomb? This movie totally bombed, dude. It was described by Screen Rant like an EMP tossed into a lunar crater. Roland Emmerich's Moonfall bombed at the box office, but it deserves so much better, which I totally agree. It grossed just $10 million in the U.S. against a budget of $140 million.
Oh my God.
I looked around the theater. I was there opening night. So I was there on Thursday night. And there was one other family there. And I thought to myself, is something happening tonight? Like, is there something everybody's watching that's not out of the theater? What's going on? The movie theater was completely dead. There was like 4 or 5 cars in the parking lot. I honestly thought something was wrong. But for some weird reason, dude, people are not going to the movies, and they're not reacting to any movie. They're reacting to movies like Spider-Man, right? So everybody went and saw the new Spider-Man movie, but for whatever reason, despite having some pretty neat looking trailers and having, another disaster movie, people didn't want to go. Now, the theory is that because of coronavirus and COVID, maybe people don't want to, after being through a pandemic, maybe they don't want to see the destruction of Earth.
No.
Right? But I don't think that's it.
That's not it.
Right? Because we always want to see the destruction of Earth, right?
Yeah. It has nothing to do with it's not the pandemic, bro.
So let me hear what you think. Why did nobody go see this movie? What was out in its place? Nothing.
Well, as my light is flashing, warning me that we are over time, I'm going to tell you this. And by the way, I should not have done this, what this light's doing. But I'll think what it is I think that Roland Emmerich has a pretty bad track record as of late.
Is that what it is? People went, oh, it's a Roland Emmerich movie. I mean, or do they not be?
It's another disaster movie by Roland Emmerich. And, there's obviously, guys, if you look at my Stargate poster right here, there's Roland Emmerich films that I absolutely adore. But what has he made recently? This light's going to give me a seizure. I got to turn it off.
Well, I mean, I did like The Day After Tomorrow. I actually liked that movie quite a bit. Yeah.
That was probably the last good, the last really good disaster film he made. Because 2012 was like...
no, it was a great movie.
I didn't like 2012.
That wasn't him, though, I don't think.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Roland Emmerich did 2012.
Yeah, he did. I'm not crazy.
Really?
I'm not a crazy person. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. He did. Well, he wrote it, dude. He didn't direct it.
Okay.
Or no, did he? Yeah, 2012, written by. Yeah, he wrote it. So he did write it, but it wasn't his movie. He didn't make it. Which, if you watch 2012, it's actually a pretty exciting and interesting movie to watch. So he came up with the idea. Fine. But he didn't make it like he made the Stargate movie, like he made Independence Day and Independence Day Resurgence.
Bro, look at this. Why does it say Stargate is announced as the writer for a new Stargate? That's not
based on the film, because that episode was based on the film, and so they had to give him credit.
No. His latest credit here is for Stargate.
No, they just haven't updated it. This is for the movie. Remember when they came out, they said they were going to do Stargate movie? It just hasn't been removed.
Oh, okay. So
this is old news. Which, by the way, since we're here, you will learn more about that if you watch tomorrow's Popcast Prime video that's coming out.
Yep.
Because it's all about Stargate, which I think we're supposed to share that in the member section, but whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. Okay. All right. Yeah. So apparently Stargate's announced. You guys should probably update this.
Yeah, that is old news, actually.
So Independence Day Resurgence was one of the worst sequels to a movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Right.
Independence Day, on the other hand, was a fantastic, awesome movie. I loved it. And then Resurgence was such a damn letdown. White House Down was basically a crappier version of Olympus Has Fallen. 2012, I didn't like very much.
But it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, wasn't good. 10,000 BC, I couldn't get through without going to sleep, honestly. I'm sorry.
I didn't even watch it.
The Day After Tomorrow was a good film. A little slow, good film. Great visuals.
Yep.
Patriot was good. So I feel like the last good movie he made was right here, bro.
Was what?
Was Day After Tomorrow in 2004.
Okay, well, I mean, actually, it says he directed 2012, which is shocking me right now because I did not think that was the case. So he did 2012, which I liked.
I didn't like 2012.
I liked White House Down, even though if it wasn't as good as the other one.
Olympus Has Fallen was a way better film.
It was better, but I also liked White House Down.
Okay.
And this Independence Day Resurgence was not good. Midway, give it or take it. And then Moonfall. I don't know if people said, oh my God, we're not going to go watch this movie because he screwed up Independence Day Resurgence. Because that's essentially what you're saying here.
I mean, like, I don't feel like his name doesn't, like, you know what, at the beginning of the trailers, how they're like the mind behind, and they like list all these movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing anymore, because when I saw the Moonfall trailer, I was like, oh, this looks really cool.
Right.
And the second I saw it was Roland Emmerich, my mind went to,
but that's us. We know him very, very well.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
Most people will go, Roland who?
And Stargate's my favorite movie of all time.
Right.
So he made my favorite movie of all time, and I still don't think he's very good at his job anymore.
Right. Okay. So that's fair. Now, perhaps I'm thinking that maybe more likely the reason why people didn't go see the movie is really for one reason only, and that is Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson played Brian Harper, who's the main character, and this actor is just a B-level actor. Patrick, I apologize. I like you, but dude, you can't carry a movie. And that's, I think people looked at this. One of the draws to going to seeing a movie is who's in it, right? You already got the story of the moon isn't what we thought it is. Boom. Like, what human being that doesn't love conspiracy, our moon, it's up in our sky, and a disaster story about it. What person doesn't want to go see that movie in their core?
Yeah.
So then they go, who's in it? Oh, Patrick Wilson. Oh,
wow. He was Ocean Master. That's right. I liked him as
familiar.
I liked him as King Orm in
Bit Roll, bro. Bit Roll.
No, he was a good.
Not the lead.
He wasn't the lead, but he was a very good antagonist.
I mean, sort of. He was okay, but I mean, let's go look at it. He was in Midway. I wonder, is that how he got this job? He already worked with Roland Emmerich. I saw him in The Tall Grass. He was okay. What else is he in here? I mean, you recognize his face because you've seen him. He was in the Conjuring movies, and he wasn't even the best thing in those movies. If you go down and scroll through all of these, dude's been around forever, but you don't look at him and go, dang, I got to have him in my movie. I want to go see him in a movie.
Oh man, he played Don Champagne in Home Sweet Hell. And this is a movie that most people haven't seen, but it was such a great movie.
All right. Well, most people haven't seen. That's the problem.
If you guys haven't seen this movie, it's not sci-fi or whatever. It's like a psycho thriller, but it is. And I don't even like psycho thrillers. A phenomenal movie. I saw it twice with my wife. Such a great movie.
Okay. And then you got Halle Berry as his co-star.
Yeah.
Who doesn't kind of look like Halle Berry. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like you're watching the movie and you're going, is that Halle Berry? Like you couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I haven't seen Halle Berry do much of anything in a long time.
And she hasn't carried a movie in a long time. And then you got this other guy, the third part of the movie, this John Bradley, who I would argue did a really good job as Casey Houseman. But why wasn't Simon Pegg playing that role? Like, that's like what Simon Pegg should have been playing.
Simon Pegg can't play every sassy Brit, though, right?
Well, in this case, it was like perfect for Simon Pegg. And what else is Simon Pegg doing besides hopefully doing Galaxy Quest? But we needed a little bit better, higher quality. So I think Roland thought, okay, this movie, people want to see the moons falling to Earth. Everybody's going to want to see this. I can cast who I want. To be fair, though, you have a good point, because even though I like this guy, John Bradley, I believe that role should have been an older person like Simon Pegg. It should have been, if you want that type of character, you need someone that's a little older, that has a little more, because he's playing such an important role, right? Like he's going into space. It's a critical role, not only going into space, but just as being believable. And he didn't do a bad job. He's just an unknown. Like if you watch the movie, you're like, oh, he was good. If you look at Patrick Wilson, he was fine. Halle Berry's fine. The movie isn't about the actors. The movie is about the story.
Right.
I wouldn't even say it was made wonderfully. There's elements of this movie that are just kind of unnecessary. a whole scene with a bunch of hillbillies. It made absolutely no sense. But, you know, but the story of the moon not being, you know, originated with the earth, that coming, telling basically the story of our origin story, humanity's origin story, in a way that's never been told before.
Right.
Was fascinating and enjoyable and worth the price of popcorn, which most movies aren't.
Right.
So
yeah, and I'm still gonna watch it, but I didn't rush out to watch it, and maybe that's because I have just been so busy, honestly, making videos. So
yeah, well, that's a good point. You know, and Michelle says something here. I agree that people don't want to see an Earth Destructo movie. People want hope now. You know, and that is a really good point, Michelle, because you're right. We all want hope. You know, I also want escapism, I think. And while watching the Earth be destroyed is definitely not the best form, I feel like these types of movies come along so infrequently. We get a lot of them that are made, like you can go all the way back to Armageddon and Deep Impact, and every once in a while you get these movies, but it takes place over the course of usually several years. And then you get these B-rated movies that aren't so good that come out and you're like, there's not even any graphics. This is terrible. You know? So when one does come, and especially when one's made by like Roland Emmerich, who there's not a lot of people out there who want to make these type of movies. It just doesn't exist. This is like the guy who makes these movies. So if we, and this is the fear that I have, if we don't go see them, studios will not allow him to continue making them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to lose the disaster movie, bro. And that's, you know, and I know humanity maybe right now, and maybe Michelle's right. Maybe right now is not the best time for it, but, you know, exploring the potential of dystopians and everything else. I don't know why we love dystopians. Why do we love the earth being destroyed? I don't know. Maybe the same way we like horror movies or whatever, but I know that's something that I would hate to lose permanently because people don't want to go to the box office and see it.
I had that.
Is it because there's too many options at home? Is that what it is? Is Netflix and HBO Max and Disney Plus, is it destroying the theater? Is streaming service destroying the movies, bro?
I don't know, but I was looking for this. I was looking for a reason to tell you why people stop watching this guy's movies.
Right.
And I was about to say the size of that ship in relation to Earth from Independence Day 2.
Yeah.
And so I went to go pull up the image, and it's even more ridiculous than I remember. Look at the size of this planet. It's bigger than the moon. That is the Earth.
I don't know if it's bigger than the moon. It's not bigger than the moon.
That ship is sitting on planet Earth.
Is it on the Earth?
It's on the Earth. It's landed on.
Is that landed?
It's landed on the Earth, bro.
Is that the entire continent of Africa?
That's like a fifth of the other planet, dude.
That's not a perspective problem. Oh, you're right. It is landed. You're right.
It's landed on the planet Earth, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, that's too big. Yeah. Although I was going to just tell you that while the moon is even bigger than this, and it also is a spaceship. So
this one just
Roland likes big spaceships.
This thing landing alone would just decimate the planet.
Honestly, you're right. It's that's ridiculous.
So that, you know, that's one thing that Roland Emmerich is both good and bad at, is he always takes the silliness and like cranks it up, right? And he tries to do it in a way that goes, you know, that's not Fast and Furious, but it's silly if you really think about it. And he's done that with a lot. Like in 2012, I remember that car, the guy driving the limo, where it's narrowly missing like everything. It's going through, the limo is driving through a building as it's crashing down. It's barely being, missing, being destroyed. It's just not reasonable, but it's also not so silly like Fast and Furious, where you're like, oh, that's silly. And in the moment you're like, oh, that's cool. But then when you think about it, that is so ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem when Roland has is if he's successful, then he usually amps it up again. And that's what we see in Independence Day Resurgence. He amped it up so far where it now is like Fast and Furious level ridiculous.
I'm just worried that people are. I mean, doesn't seem. I'd like you to answer the streaming question, John. Thank you for not letting Brian get away with not answering that question. But I want to know: are we as human beings becoming so critical that we cannot allow ourselves to enjoy something because we need to nitpick the crap out of it to the point of it becoming negative? What is good in 2022? Tell me something that people watch that they're not taking a big poop on everything.
Peacemaker's great.
Right? I mean, I guess I haven't looked into what people are saying about it, but is everybody in general saying Peacemaker's a great show? Because
I don't think anything is ever going to be everyone likes this or everyone dislikes this.
Right, but there's a majority rules kind of thing that doesn't seem to exist anymore. You could you could say, "Wow, that's a great movie," or "That's a great TV show," and pretty much most people would agree. But that doesn't exist today. Give me something that, I mean, look at the Book of Boba Fett, which, and what Star Wars is doing. I would argue that it's good. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I feel like a lot of people would like that, but it's very down the middle.
Oops, my bad.
Sorry, am I interrupting you?
No. I tried to fix my light and it decided to crash down. I apologize. No, I agree with you, man.
Okay,
so we have gotten very critical. But that might be also that more people have access to things now. So they're not watching it over long periods of time. They're watching it faster. And they have access to faster reviews, which is also,
so you think that's like helping their opinion, push their opinion along? Listen to other people?
Sure, yeah. People you trust, generally speaking, right? And they're telling you, this TV show sucks, don't waste your time. Now, I have a problem with that. I've always had a problem with the idea of not wasting your time because someone decided to tell you, "Oh, don't waste your time, watch that." Well, you're not. I mean, are you wasting your time? Because just because that person's opinion is saying you're not going to like this, doesn't mean you shouldn't go try it for yourself. Because some people also are making a living off not liking things. Remember that.
Right, and influence is power. Michelle says here, everything is polarized right now. Yeah. So everything is polarized. So do you think people are not liking something because they shouldn't like it or because they hear people? I just want to tell me something that everybody's like, yeah, that's good. Well, is there anything? I mean, you, Mr. Brian, who watches everything, please tell me something that in general people say is good.
I mean, I think people like Peacemaker.
I can't think of anything.
I mean, people like Spider-Man.
They like the Spider-Man movie in general, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there's something, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hat onto it. There's only so much of that we can do, though. So, we'll have to see what happens.
I mean, there's other things too. The Kingsman prequel. No one had a problem with that. A lot of people liked it.
You know what? Most people just didn't even talk about it, though. I don't remember people coming out and going, "Wow, such a great movie."
That's another thing too. It's like, listen, anger, unhappiness and anger is going to get a lot more views than rage. That's just fact. Right, we've been doing the YouTube for a long time. All of our videos are pretty. Even if we don't like something, we try to look at the good on something, and we try to be inspiring. And you can only get so far making inspiring stuff if the content you're watching is not wildly, liked by everyone.
That's a good point. Yeah. The Witcher. Michelle says The Witcher.
Witcher was great.
I do believe that a lot of people like The Witcher. Okay, that's good to hear. I just want to know that there are things that as a humanity, as people, we can still somewhat agree on. And I hate the fact that the world is so polarized. John Burns here says, this is actually a really good point. He says that the ID4 ship reminds him of the Mad Magazine depiction of the Imperial starship that was chasing Princess Leia with the sign, "We don't break for nobody" from Spaceballs. Remember that? That was
that's
ridiculously huge. Remember the beginning of Spaceballs?
Yeah, it was insane.
And it goes on and on and on and never ends.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Then that's what Roland Emmerich has gotten really good at doing. Like he keeps one-upping himself in movies to the point where it's like, okay, this is now too much. Like it was already crazy. Independence Day was already sort of intense and over the top. You didn't need to. You did not. You needed to continue the story. You didn't need bigger ships. Okay.
I think maybe for Independence Day, that was his problem. Like when he did the sequel, he thought, "Wow, I got to be better than the last one."
Yeah, but the story is what made Independence Day, not the size of the ships.
Right. True. But if you go look at all of his other movies, he doesn't seem to have that same issue.
Well, like I saw the making of The Day After Tomorrow. And the reason why Day After Tomorrow wasn't like absurd in the flooding and all that was because of they had technical limits on what they were able to do. He in that making of, he was like, I wanted this to be bigger. I wanted the water to go over this. And he at the time, he said at the time we just couldn't accomplish that. So his limits is what made that movie a good movie, because he couldn't make the waves, visible from space. Right?
Yeah. We do talk about this in the video tomorrow. It talks about essentially Roland Emmerich. He doesn't like to be handcuffed. He wants to do it the way he wants to do it. And he wants to have a lot of budget to do it. So you're right. I think he probably will go as far as he can. Maybe that's why he has these budget actors, because he wants to spend the money on special effects. Right. But the reality is you got to find some sort of balance, or get a fresh face or something. Like these are B actors now.
Right.
And unfortunately you can't carry a movie like that. Although I will tell you, go watch it. If you like conspiracy theories, you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I plan to watch it next week when I have there's been no time lately. But anyways,
I know. We
do have to move on to the member section. Here's the deal. If you're watching this right now, I'm so happy you're here. And it's awesome that you're here watching this live. But we are going to finish the show, the last half of our show, in the members section on the main Popcast channel. Now, you can find that information, easy peasy, in the description of this video. If you're on the Popcast Unleashed, I also just put it in chat. And if you want to make it really, really easy, and maybe you're watching on a phone, you can just go to popcast.co/join, and it would take you to the members section. But we are going to leave this stream on Unleashed, and we're going to continue the stream with our last 3 topics in the members section. And Shane, what are those topics?
We are going to be talking about the Jurassic World Dominion trailer, which it's not just the trailer that's interesting. They make a claim about this being the end, but yet they've also said it's not. So, and we've got some familiar faces coming back that's going to make you happy if you love Jurassic Park. We're also going to be looking at the 2022 DCEU trailer, which shows clips of all the movies they have coming out this year for their superheroes. I haven't been hyped about any of those movies, but watching this trailer actually moved the bar for me a little bit.
Yep, and we're gonna damage our monetization status and just go ahead and check out that trailer in that section.
Yeah, and also we're going to be looking into Blade Runner 2099, a new Ridley Scott show that's coming out, which is going to be very interesting.
Yes. All right. So until next week, if you're not planning on joining us, that's fine. We'll see you next week. But if you want to come on over, the link is in the chat, the description, and it's on the screen. And we'll see you